Hi guys, it's Ingrid here, and today I'm talking about my most anticipated sequels of 2019. So I already have a video up about my most anticipated releases that are not sequels up on my channel. So if you want to hear those books, you should definitely check it out. I will have it linked in the description down below. So yeah, this will be my most anticipated sequels. I have a couple of graphic novels I'm going to be talking about, and then some books. So let's just get into the video. So first I have 3 graphic novels that I want to talk about. The first one being Monstrous, and I'm not sure if the volume 4 is going to come out this year, but they do have a release date for issue number 19, and that one comes out on January 23rd. So they are continuing past volume 3, and last year the first issue in volume 3 came out in January, and the volume itself came out in September, so I'm hoping it's the case for this year as well, so that we get the volume in September. If you don't know the difference between issues and volumes, issues are like the really tiny ones, and a volume is a collection of multiple issues. So I don't collect the individual issues of Monstrous, I collect the volumes, but I do know that issue number 19 is coming out soon. And I'm hoping, as I said, that the volume will also be coming out in 2019 because I love this series so much. So this is a fantasy, kind of steampunky story about Maika Half-Wolf. It's set in a world where you have humans, you have gods, you have, I don't know what they call it, but people that are a little bit human, a little bit god. And it's wartime, and we're following Maika, and she has this monster, and she's trying to like figure out what's really going on, what really happened to her mother, and it's a whole lot. If you enjoyed the first one, you should definitely move on to the second one. It gives you more story because it is such a big world, like it's really heavy fantasy. If you haven't read any fantasy, this might not be the one to start with because it is really like heavy world building to get into, and the story is a lot. So this, I'm hoping, is gonna be a long series. But if you are a fantasy lover like me, you really have to check it out. The art style inside is very much the same as on the cover, which I think is gorgeous. They also have talking cats, which is a plus. So I'm really excited for me to be continuing on with this series, and maybe you are too. The next one comes out on January 29th, and that is Hollow Fields Volume 3. This is actually originally a manga that came out in 2007. And they've done this whole like revamp of the series where they have made it into a graphic novel. So you know, like in the manga you read from right to left, and in the normal graphic novels you read from left to right. So they've done it into the graphic novel so you read from left to right. They've also added color to it, and it's amazing. I own and have read the first 2 volumes in the series, and now I'm waiting for them to release it in the graphic novel format because that's the way that I personally discovered it. And this is also like a steampunk fantasy, but it's more like a middle grade, which Monstrous definitely is not. And so we follow a girl named Lucy Snow, and she's supposed to go to this prestigious elementary boarding school, but she gets lost on the way, and she gets into a school that are training mad scientists and like villains. So it's so funny. And just an interesting concept to see kind of how you would train evil villains, I suppose. And it's so good. I don't mind this middle grade because it is kind of grotesque, but the art style is not. It's really colorful, and it's what you see on the cover basically. So this volume is also the conclusion to this story, which is like bittersweet. I feel like it's a really binge-worthy series. So I've told my sister that she needs to read the series, but that she should wait until I've gotten the 3rd volume, because I do think you should read them back to back, because both the 1st and the 2nd volume ends on cliffhangers. So I've been desperately awaiting this 3rd volume for only like a month or so, but I'm so excited for it to get out, and I will be getting to it very soon. And the last graphic novel I have on my list is Kim Reaper Vampire Island, and this comes out on June the 11th. Now this is a sequel to Kim Reaper. Don't remember if it had like another name as well. And I'm not going to talk too much about the second one because it is the sequel. So we're following Kim and Becca, and Becca has a crush on Kim, and Kim is a part-time Grim Reaper. And we're following a day when Becca is trying to hit on Kim and get kind of wrapped into the Grim Reaper aspect, and it's so funny. It's so cute. I absolutely loved it. and that's why I'm going to be picking up the sequel. And the first one, the storyline did kind of wrap up a little bit, so I'm hoping it's the same with the second one, that it's like a kind of a little adventure, but it also wraps up. But I'm excited to see where this story goes. Now we're going to move on to the books that I'm really excited for. So first up we have The Wicked King, which is the sequel to The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. So I won't say too much about The Wicked King because it's a sequel, but The Cruel Prince followed Jude and her two sisters, and they are in the human world, but then a Fae assassin comes and kills their parents and abducts them and takes them into the Fae world, where they have to kind of learn how to live with Fae. So it's Jude, her twin sister, and then their older half-sister. And the half-sister is half Fae. And it's so good. It's my first ever Fae book, but I absolutely loved it. It has some of our world, but also like a Fae world, and it's just so much political intrigue. And it ends on a pretty big cliffhanger. So I've been wanting the second book for like a year now. I'm so excited for it to get out, but I'm also super scared because there's another year of waiting until the third and final book is out. But regardless, I'm going to pick up the second one and read it pretty early on. And The Wicked King comes out on January the 8th. And then we have In an Absent Dream by Shannon Maguire, and this one also comes out on January the 8th. This is the fourth book of the Wayward Children trilogy. No, it's not a trilogy because it's 4 books. This is the fourth book in the Wayward Children series, and I'm not going to be talking too much about this one for 2 reasons. One, I don't actually know the storyline because I'm so hooked onto this series, I don't really need to know. And it's also the fourth book, so I don't want to spoil anything, so I'm going to talk about the first book in the series instead. And that first book is Every Heart a Doorway. And basically we follow a group of students at this school that is for wayward children, and being a wayward child means that you've gone to a different world like Narnia or Wonderland or Neverland, that kind of world, and you get back into our world and you have to learn how to cope with this, and so you go to this boarding school. And in this first one there is kind of like a mystery spin to it, which I absolutely loved. I read all the 3 books that are currently out, and they are super short. They're less than 200 pages each, so I don't want to, as I said, know too much about the story because I feel like it kind of ruins it. So I'm really looking forward to picking up the 4th book in this series. So the next book I'm going to talk about is Wished by Jen Kalanita, and this is the 5th book in the Fairy Tale Reform School series. So again, I'm not going to be talking too much about this, but I will be talking about the first book in the series, which is Flunked. So I have the first 4 up on my shelf right there, but I'll be talking about the first one, Flunked. First of all, these covers are gorgeous, but also the stories are great. This is something I would highly recommend for Disney fans because we follow this girl named Jilly. She's 12 years old and she does that kind of petty theft to get by. And then she gets caught too many times and she has to go to Fairy Tale Reform School. And Fairy Tale Reform School is run by Cinderella's evil stepmom, but now she's like good. And they also have other villains, like they have Ursula, which is like the bad guy of The Little Mermaid, and they have the wolf from Little Red Riding Hood. They also have the evil queen from Snow White. It's just so funny. I absolutely love this character. I love how fun these are, but also kind of has like a little bit of a serious undertone. These are middle grade books, but I love middle grade books, and so I'm super excited to see where this story is going to take us because we have kind of been on the same path for a while now, so I'm hoping to have some more action. And so far I'm loving this series. I kind of want to reread this, but I think I might wait. There also is a spin-off series to this, if you read it and really loved it, that's called Misfits. And the first book of that came out October 2018, so you should check that out as well if you're already into this. And if you're not, and you like Disney, you should definitely check this one out. And Wished comes out on March the 5th. And the next book I'm going to be talking about is actually a book that's out, but this edition of the book isn't out. And that is A Gathering of Shadows by V.E. Schwab, and the collector's edition comes out on March 12th. So I believe this originally came out in 2016, but as I said, it's the collector's edition. It has a reading ribbon, it has fan art on the end pages, there's a short story in it, and I'm just excited. I have the collector's edition of the first book in the I believe this is the US covers. I'm really excited to get the second one. I'm waiting to continue with the series until I have the collector's edition because I didn't love the first book. I gave it 3 stars. It's okay. I like the whole 4 different Londons. Like you have a grey London, a white London, a black London, and a red London. And we follow Cal that can jump in between these Londons and he smuggles things. And then in grey London he meets this girl named Delilah Bard and they kind of go on an adventure to save the world-ish kind of thing. It was fun. It was alright. I just didn't love it as much as everyone else, but I do want to continue because these books are beautiful, and the more time I've had apart from it, the more intrigued I am. So I will be picking the beautiful collector's edition up when it comes out. The next book is the last book in a series that I absolutely love, and that is Finale by Stephanie Garber. This is gonna crush me. I have read Caraval twice now and Legendary once, and I love those books so much. I feel like this book is either gonna be something that I absolutely love or absolutely hate. So Finale is set 2 months after Legendary ends. So since I can't tell you the synopsis because I think it will spoil the first 2 books, I will talk about Caraval instead. This follows 2 sisters, Scarlett and Tella, and they go to Caraval, which is kind of like a performance, like an interactive kind of performance with a little bit of magic, and it's so good. It deals with like marriage and power and politics and magic and whimsical things. I absolutely loved it. As I said, I read it twice now. I plan on rereading it before the last book comes out, which is in May. It's on May 30th, so the wait is literally killing me. But I'm super excited to finish up this series because I need to know how it ends. I need to know. And the last and final book on this video is by far the thing that I'm most excited about in all of 2019. And I've had to wait for about 2 years because it was supposed to come out in 2018 in September, but it got pushed back to 2019 in September. If you guys know what I'm talking about, you're probably just as frustrated as I am, but that is Dark Dawn by J. Kristoff. So this is set to release on September 3rd, and I'm counting down the days. I've needed this in my life since I finished Godsgrave. So this is the 3rd and final book in the Nevernight Chronicles, the first book being Nevernight, and the second book being Godsgrave. Now, Godsgrave especially, I love with like all my bookish heart. This, at the time when I read it, was, I believe, my favorite book of all time. Now, Peter Pan and Neverland has kind of knocked this down to 3rd place, but still. So in Nevernight, we follow this girl named Mia Corvera. I'm not really sure how to pronounce it, but she is such a badass. She has had her family killed, and she wants to go to the Red Church to learn how to be an assassin so that she can assassinate the person who killed her family. It's amazing. My love for this series is so strong that I can't even speak properly when I'm trying to talk about it. But honestly, guys, if you love fantasy and you don't mind like a little bit of gore and blood and just a little bit of sexy time as well, read it. So that was it for my most anticipated sequels. Be sure to check out my other video that's linked in the description if you want to hear about other books that I'm excited to read in 2019. And be sure to give me a comment, let me know what is your most anticipated sequel of 2019. Is it any of the books that I've talked about, or is it something that I'm not aware that's coming out, or maybe just let me know. If you like this video, you can give it a thumbs up. If you want to connect on Twitter or Goodreads, those links are also in the description. If you want to know more about these books, the Goodreads links will be in the description as well. And if you enjoy hearing me ramble on about books, then you can press that subscribe button. And so then I will see you in my next one. Bye.